This is Steve Zeltzer with Work Week on KPOO, and we're here at a rally for Palestinians against the attack on Palestine, the genocide, and Dr. Jess Ghannam is one of the speakers here.
Thank you for having me, Steve. I really appreciate it.
Why don't you talk about why this action is taking place and what healthcare workers have to do with what's going on in Palestine?
Well, just today we found out from my colleague at Shifa Hospital in Gaza that a missile from the Israeli military hit Al-Shifa Hospital at its entrance, killing hundreds of people. This is just one atrocity among hundreds where the Israeli military has been targeting not just civilians, but hospitals, healthcare workers, and doctors. So part of the war crimes that are being committed in Palestine right now, in addition to civilians, they're attacking doctors, hospitals, and clinics, and so there's not a single functioning clinic or hospital anywhere in Gaza right now. People are operating without anesthesia. Hospitals have run out of electricity because there's no fuel for the generators. So today's action is to call out the war crimes against healthcare professionals in Gaza. So this is a healthcare worker-dominated action with many demands. Ceasefire immediately, resumption of humanitarian aid, ending the occupation, and to stop targeting hospitals and clinics.
And there was just a rally this morning at the docks in Oakland for a military ship. I mean, the United States says it's for equal rights, it's for human rights, yet they want to ship more military weapons to Israel with these crimes going on.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest choke, and I think more and more people are seeing that. The ILWU and our union brothers and sisters have been extraordinary during this period of time, and actually, you know, for decades before that in understanding that struggle. And so for the action today at the Oakland docks was very, very important. But I think the bigger issue is that you have a government, this government in particular, under Joe Biden, who is not just supporting, but giving cover for war crimes and crimes against humanity. And just today, the U.S. Congress passed $14.8 billion appropriation of more military aid to the apartheid regime of Israel to continue their war crimes and the occupation of Palestine. So we want these actions so that people will wake up and see where these tax dollars and where this government-funded crime against humanity and genocide, where it's really coming from.
It seems like there's unlimited funding. I mean, the first thing that Congress does is to pass a bill for more money for Israel. You have a situation of health care, education, housing for working people in this country?
Well, you know, people are suffering right now in the United States, and working class folks are really struggling. You know, they're getting unemployed. They can't support their families, but we have billions of dollars supporting this criminal activity in Israel, committing war crimes with billions and billions of dollars going to this government as opposed to helping, you know, our middle class communities here just basically survive. It's really criminal.
And the politicians, Nancy Pelosi's from San Francisco. You've got the Senate race, and you know, these people are saying they can't even support a ceasefire. I mean,
yeah. So here's my statement to Nancy Pelosi, to all the Senate candidates: if you can't stand up to genocide, you're on the wrong side of history. If you can't stand up to genocide, you're morally corrupt, and you don't deserve anybody's vote. You don't deserve to be in the U.S. Senate. This is an easy ask. Are you against genocide? Full stop. If you can't go there, you shouldn't be in the Senate.
And the unions as well. I know that the Labor Council tried to pass a resolution in 2021 around what was happening in Gaza. Liz Schuler, the president of the AFL-CIO, sent a letter to the Labor Council saying you can't talk about this. I mean, what is going on?
Well, it's not just the AFL-CIO. It's corporation leadership. It's presidents of universities. Even here at UCSF and San Francisco General, people are told not to talk about it. And we live in a world right now where people are being told not to talk about genocide, to close their eyes, to close their ears, to close their mouth, and not speak about the unspeakable. But we will speak. We will not be silenced. And we have to take a stand.
And there have been a large number of Jews, I mean, who are organizing. Are you surprised by the outpouring of Jewish activists at the Penn Station in New York?
I'm not surprised, because my Jewish friends and colleagues of conscience have been standing with Palestine for decades. And I think, you know, anti-Zionist Jews and Jews of conscience stand against these war crimes and have been standing in solidarity with Palestinian freedom for decades. So it doesn't surprise me, actually. it's fantastic to see, but actually it's not a surprise.
So do you see any hope? I mean, there have been mass demonstrations all over the world.
I'm very hopeful. Unfortunately, my hope is tempered against the deep grief that I feel right now for my community in Gaza, my brothers and sisters in Gaza who've been killed. I have colleagues who have been killed with their families. So the juxtaposition of the grief also comes with hope, because I do see that there's this building movement globally now. People are beginning to see the reality of Palestine in ways that they never have, and that does give me hope.
And children, I mean, the large number of children, thousands of children have been killed. I mean, it must be a horrific thing for any human being in this country, yet it doesn't seem to be.
Yeah, well, 4,500 Palestinian children have been killed. 1,000 are, we can't even locate them. They're presumed dead and under the rubble. And again, if you can't stand against genocide against children and you want to be silent, you're so morally bankrupt. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and see that you didn't stand up against this genocide.
I'm Elisabeth Milos, a member of UPTE, the University of Professional and Technical Employees of the University of California. UPTE represents 17,000 workers in the University of California. We passed a resolution in June of 2021 in solidarity with Palestine, and I was at the time a member of the San Francisco Labor Council, and I attempted together with about 25 to 30 other delegates to get a resolution passed at the San Francisco Labor Council in solidarity with Palestine as a result of the attacks on Gaza, the attacks on the families in Jerusalem who were being displaced.
And Liz Schuler, the president of the AFL-CIO, wrote a letter to the Labor Council trying to shut down even a discussion?
Yes, in September we got a letter as a result of the resolution that was tabled, basically. Telling us that we were not allowed.
Next we have Brenda from SEIU. Thank you so much.
Hello everybody, my name is Brenda Barros. I'm a chapter president for SEIU 1021 out here. And I just wanted to let everybody know that our union, SEIU, is meeting Monday because we want to submit a resolution to the federal government about stopping the killing in Gaza. And I believe that will happen, and that's the way most of our members feel about this issue. Now, we also have members who are Israeli, who have family members in Israel, and they feel just as strongly that this needs to stop. The killing needs to stop. So I'm here in support of you. I have been championing this issue for a long time. We tried to take it to the San Francisco Labor Council to get a resolution. It didn't pass. Why it didn't pass, I don't know, but it didn't. So we have to put a lot of pressure on these labor unions that you belong to support this issue. So I hope you guys continue. I will continue, and I want to talk to the black people because I'm hearing a lot of stuff from people saying this is not our issue because they feel like it's not their issue. They don't have any skin in the game. That's a term I keep hearing used. But I want to say to all of the black people out here, this kind of destruction of communities is wrong, no matter who it is. And so when it happens to us, we want support. You see, I'm wearing a reparations shirt. It's not over in America, as far as I'm concerned. And so also, we need to support other people who are going through apartheid, just like we did in South Africa. It's not any different. So it's the same fight for all of us, and we need to all stick in it and do it together. And let's win this and stop the killing.
Thank you, Brenda. The labor struggle is so critical. I'm very proud that my union, UAW Local 2865, UCUAW, has passed a resolution calling for an end to the occupation. There's so much that we need to do to carry this struggle forward as part of international solidarity with all of our workers and all of our people. I'd also next like to give the mic to Elisabeth Milos, who is from UPTE and
obviously brought to tears. And like many of you probably have not been able to sleep during these past 3 weeks. And I also joined the issue here that it didn't start on October 7th. In fact, as a former member of the Labor Council and as a representative of UPTE, my union, University of Professional and Technical Employees, which represents 17,000 workers in the University of California system, statewide, we passed a resolution, but we tried to bring it to the Labor Council, and the AIPAC supporters on the Labor Council basically stopped it from going forward. And then we got a letter from the AFL-CIO National in September of 2021 telling us that we could not discuss this. That even goes against the long, proud history of the San Francisco Labor Council of opposing the Vietnam War when the national AFL-CIO was in favor of it. I think we need to also consider the fact that there's a lot of members of unions here who are getting these kind of instructions on not to say anything about it and things like that. It's very important that we realize the intersectionality of all this, which was mentioned. Israel, there was a deadly exchange report by the Jewish Voice of Peace called Deadly Exchange, which shows the training of Israeli government and army of the police force in the United States, which has made the increase in police violence against black and brown people, including shooting out people's eyes, increase exponentially. There's also the Al-Bayt Systems, which is an Israeli company which surveils the borders and is basically attacking people that are trying to flee poverty and trying to flee war and trying to flee the narco gangs that the U.S. allows the sending of arms to. I think we need to realize there's an incredible intersectionality, and we within our union have to realize the role that the AFL-CIO played and has been playing. Since the 1928, they allowed the formation of Histadrut, basically the segregated unions that allowed for apartheid to come forward and to be solidified. They were promoting segregation in the union in the 1920s, as well as here as well. Segregation when people were fighting in the civil rights movement. The AFL-CIO was not on our side in Palestine. And also in Chile, my mother's country. The AFL-CIO also destabilized the Salvador Allende government of Chile and supported the strike against the Allende government, which brought about and helped to bring about the bloody coup in Chile. And they're continuing to do that in 62 different countries through its so-called solidarity centers, which have nothing to do with solidarity, but everything to do to suppress workers' power. The only way that we're going to be able to stop this war machine is to literally stop it. And we need to, even if that means we need to talk to our own union representatives and tell them, you need to step up and be with humanity and support Palestinians and to end the occupation. It's not just enough to cease fire. We need to end this occupation. We need to stop the siege on Gaza. Thank you.
Thank you. That's right. End the occupation now.
End the occupation now.
End the occupation now.
End